Mayor, it's 6:30. We are recording. I have a few preliminary matters. This is Zoe Burgess, your city clerk. This meeting of the February 14, 2022 regular city council is being held with a quorum of City of Westlake Council physically in attendance at the Westlake Council Chambers, 4005 Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. Allow me to confirm any speakers that are virtually present and available to speak. David Cowan, are you on the line and available to hear and speak?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Public comments may be accepted prior to the meeting utilizing the electronic comment card available on the city's website. Public comments are also permitted at the appropriate time during the meeting. The mayor will call for such during public comment, and you may participate at this time utilizing the system's virtual hand feature and waiting to be acknowledged if you wish to comment. Please note this meeting is being recorded, both voice and video, and to remember your mic may be live. I will mute any microphones that carry any feedback or interruptions. If you are a caller that has been muted, you may unmute yourself by pressing *6. Any person in the virtual meeting causing a disruption or being inappropriate will be removed from the meeting. If I may also remind those physically in attendance, please utilize microphones so that the virtual audience and a clear recording of the meeting is produced. Thank you, Mayor Manning.
Thank you, City Clerk. Call to order the regular City Council meeting of the City of Westlake. It's Monday, February 14th at 6:31 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Katrina Long Robinson.
Present.
Councilwoman Crump.
Present.
Councilwoman Valiaron.
Present.
Vice Mayor O'Connor.
Present.
Mayor Manning.
Present.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, may I ask if we have any additions, deletions, or modifications for the agenda this evening?
We may have one addition. We need to, the speed limit.
We're going to do I'll mention it in the manager's report. It'll be a resolution. It'll be on for the next meeting. But I get direction from you under the manager's report.
Excellent.
With that, okay, I have a motion for approval then, if we have nothing.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second. I second.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor O'Connor, second by Councilwoman Crump. Roll call. Councilwoman Long Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Crump.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valiaron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Mayor Manning.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay, we're going to open up the public comments and requests. Part of this, our agenda. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. The public comment card should be completed and returned to the city clerk. When you are called to speak, please go to the podium or unmute your device, and prior to addressing the council, state your name and address for the record.
Mayor, I received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please unmute your device, state your name and address. If you've been muted, please press *6. Mayor, we have no comments.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda, and we have 2 items on the consent agenda tonight: the financial report and the minutes of our regular city council meeting on October 11th, 2021. We have a motion for, or if there's no discussion, let's have a motion for.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
I second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Crump, seconded by Councilwoman Long Robinson. Roll call. Councilwoman Crump.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valiaron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Mayor Manning.
Yes,
Councilwoman Long Robinson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay. We'll move on to the public hearing portion of our agenda. We're going to start out with a resolution for the final plat of Crestwind Palm Beach Phase 5. This is submitted by the engineering department, and Mr. Herring, I see, is standing and ready to roll. Want to read that by
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
first, please?
And for the record, Resolution 2022-01 is a resolution of the City Council, of the City of Westlake, Florida, approving the final plat for Crestwind Palm Beach Phase 5, being a portion of Section 6 and 7, it's Township 43 South, Range 41 East, City of Westlake, Palm Beach County, Florida. Providing for recordation, providing for an effective date. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. This is not quasi judicial, I don't believe. We don't have to swear in for this.
For the final plat approval,
Yeah.
we do not do the plat approval by quasi judicial only.
Okay. Mr. Herring, all yours, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. For the record, Donaldson Hearing here tonight on behalf of KH Westlake LLC and the team at Coulter Homes. I think I've got a presentation that I'll share with you as soon as Zoe brings that up. Hopefully I'm doing the right thing. Hey, look at that technology. You love it when it works. Tonight, we're here to talk about the plat for Crestwind's Phase 5. It's located in what we refer to as Parcel P of the City of Westlake. It's bound between Town Center Parkway to the north and Persimmon to the west. It has the Orchards community, which is Parcel S to the east, and Sky Cove North, which is to the west. And here tonight, we're here to talk about the plat for Phase 5, which will contain 199 homes. The plat boundary itself is about 65 acres in size, will contain 199 homes. And just for your information, they're all age restricted, which is what Crestwind's is. It's an active adult community. The parcel P, P1, and P2 in total will contain 800 homes that build out. There have been 466 homes platted to date. This will then be another 199 for a total of 665 homes. And as noted in the staff report, your staff has determined that the plat, which is a technical document, is compliant with the requirements of the Florida statutes, which is basically what you're here to evaluate this evening. Phase 5 is highlighted on your screen, and then the area that's green to the north of that is Phase 4, and we hope to have that on your March 14th agenda as we're bringing that one forward as well. But Phase 5, 199 homes, and they consist of 40-foot, 50-foot, and 60-foot lots. So here's sort of an enlargement that is on the screen. The orange are the 40-foot, yellow are the 50-foot, and the blue are the 60-foot lots. So Phase 5 is highlighted in blue, just kind of giving you a larger scheme of what's included in Phase 5. And certainly you'll note a trend. We've been actually trending towards selling the larger lots and the larger houses. And so that's been somewhat of a theme out here in Crestwinds. So Phase 5 will have 18 of the 40-foot, 115 of the 50-foot lots, and 66 of the 60-foot lots. So most of the homes are amenitized, being on a lake or on some open space. So very nice, consistent with everything that we've been doing to date out there in Crestwinds. Took a site visit this afternoon. So they're hoping to open up their large clubhouse parcel, about 10 acres, lots of amenities, and they're hoping to get that opened up here sometime this spring. They're putting in trees, so that's a good thing. Again, the plat is a technical document, and it is required to meet the certain minimum standards of the Florida statutes. As you're aware, this is the cover page of a plat. It contains legal descriptions and various descriptions of how parcels or dedication language are being dedicated to one agency or another. And this is reviewed by both your engineering staff and their consultants, as well as Seminole Improvement District that does their own independent review, and of course the city attorney. Again, it's a technical document that is intended to implement the site plan. So the site plan is approved by your staff, which is an administrative act, but the plat comes before you. So it's technical. It shows the lot width and the depth and the width of the right of ways and drainage easements and those types of things. So not as pretty as my pretty colored pictures, but it is a very important technical document that gets recorded in the public record of Palm Beach County. And that way individual lots can be conveyed to individual homeowners. And that's really the purpose of that. So just a technical document. And with that, be more than happy to answer any questions. And on behalf of KH Westlake LLC and the entire Coulter team, we thank you and staff for all of their hard work getting us to this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the council? I guess not, because just the document technical. So with that, there's no questions. It's a public hearing. Do we have any public that would like to make comment about this resolution?
Mr. Mayor, as a point of reference, this was approved by Sid at their February meeting.
Okay, thank you, sir.
May I receive no previous comment cards? We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please unmute your device, state your name and address. If you've been muted, please press *6. I see no comments, Mayor.
Thank you. Then do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Long Robinson, seconded by Vice Mayor O'Connor. Roll call. Councilwoman Valiaron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Mayor Manning,
Yes.
Councilwoman Long Robinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Crum.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We'll move on to item B, a resolution for the Platte Town Center Parkway Phase 3 and River Bend.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Resolution 2022-02 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, approving the Platte Town Center Parkway Phase 3 and River Bend, being a portion of sections 5, 6, and 8, the Township 43 South, Range 41 East, City of Westlake, Palm Beach County, Florida, providing for recordation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Herring.
Well, again, we thank you very much. For the record, Donaldson Hearing. And this petition is being brought forth on behalf or by Minto PBH LLC. And there are two roadway segments that are continuing the eastward expansion of the connectivity and roadways and developments here at Westlake. So glad to share this with you. So on the screen is the overall master plan. And so this is a portion of Town Center Parkway that we affectionately refer to as Phase 3E4. So it's a kind of a Phase 3.5 per se. And it's basically going east from where the existing terminus is, which is the eastern entrance to the Meadows, or the secondary entrance to the Meadows, and opposite the entrance where the Orchards is being built. So it will go east to the roundabout, or a proposed roundabout, and then it turns into a new roadway that we refer to as River Bend. And River Bend will run along the east side of the Orchards, or Pod S, all the way down to the future roundabout associated with Persimmon. And so this plat is being proffered to provide for the construction of a little bit over 1 mile of roadway. So about 5,400 linear feet of roadway, parkway, landscaping, and everything that you see that goes along with it. And it will provide access to a new subdivision that we are referring to as the Woodlands, that you will see hopefully on the 14th of next month. And that is going to be just there to the north of the roundabout, as you're seeing it on the graphic. And so that's an exciting subdivision intended to be the replacement for what we refer to as the estates, which is parcel T. So these will be large lots. And so we're excited about this. As we pointed out in the staff report, This is a plat, and it has been determined to be consistent with the requirements of Florida statutes, which is basically what you're responsible for reviewing and approving. It was approved at the SID board meeting, I think, a few days ago. And so we're excited to have this move forward. We are proceeding with full land development and engineering permits to build this segment of road. And we hope to be before you in the very near future. We're in the process of submitting the next segment, continuing further east all the way up to 60th. So again, just a continuation of the infrastructure build out here by Minto. And again, over a mile of road, that's a lot of road. So over a mile of roadway being proposed. And so again, it's a technical document, the cover sheet, which gets signed by council members and Seminole Improvement District. And others, includes all the dedication language for all the tracks and all the easements to provide for the drainage, the reuse, the backbones, sanitary, goes all in these major roadways, as well as your water lines that SID continues to build out. So that's what the plat looks like. It includes lots of various tracks and open space parcels that are adjacent to it. Again, it's a technical document that gets recorded in the public record, and then these rights of way get conveyed for the purposes of transportation and public use. And so very straightforward, relatively boring compared to my pretty pictures, but very much so needed in order to build a roadway. So with that, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And on behalf of Minto PB LH LLC, we just thank you so much and look forward to continuing out here in Westlake.
Thank you, Mr. Herring.
I just have a quick question. Just for my own understanding, and forgive the pun, but I know it's from the track being approved to actual completion is a long road. More or less, when can, between today and when it actually gets done, are we talking a year?
I would say it's probably less than a year.
Okay.
I mean, Minto executes fairly well. The design of the road is done, getting ready to go in for permit. So probably 2-3 months before construction starts, and probably 6-7 months of construction.
That soon?
Not too much more than that. I mean, the intent here is to get that road completed so all the edges that interface orchards are completed. Right. So, I mean, that's the kind of the goal, was to make sure that when Orchards comes online, its boundaries are clearly defined and completed. And then the same with the estates, which we're trying to move forward. So there's a lot of houses to build. And as you know, Groves is done. Groves, I think, is done. And so they're building now in Orchards. So I think, it probably takes longer than I think, but it goes so fast, before you know it, you'll blink your eye, it'll be there.
Fantastic. Thank you.
We have any other questions from the council? Okay, we're open to the public. City Clerk.
We received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please unmute your device, state your name and your address. If you've been muted, please press *6. You will have 3 minutes. We have no comments, Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the
Motion to adopt resolution 2022-02.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Crump, seconded by Vice Mayor O'Connor. Roll call, Vice Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Mayor Manning,
Yes.
Councilwoman Long Robinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Crump,
Yes.
Councilwoman Valle-Ron.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item C, which is ordinance vacancy and candidacy, which is submitted by the interim city attorney's office.
Thank you, Mayor. Council members. Again, item C is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, amending chapter. And for the record, there are several blanks in the titles. When the codifier ultimately codifies the ordinance, we'll incorporate the appropriate title, chapter, and section. But the item amends chapter of the city's code of ordinances that'll have a title creating a particular section to be entitled vacancy and candidacy. establishing procedures pursuant to Section 166.031 of the Florida statutes to fill a vacancy in candidacy caused by the death, withdrawal, or removal from the ballot of a qualified candidate following the end of a qualifying period which leaves fewer than 2 candidates remaining to fill a position in the City Council, providing for codification, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. And Mayor, Council, if I may, this item was initiated by our office. Yes, it was in December, there was an instance that occurred in the city that resulted in a vacancy in candidacy. Following qualifying, we had a candidate who withdrew from the candidacy process after qualifying had ended. Chapter 166 requires the city to have certain provisions either in its charter or in its code. One is a provision to fill vacancies on this council, which we have in our charter. The other is a provision to fill what's called a vacancy in candidacy, when there's people who qualify to run for office and those candidates or some of those candidates drop off, relieving 1 or 0 remaining candidates in that race. We looked to the city code to implement the provisions of that ordinance, only to learn that the city did not have an ordinance contemplating a vacancy in candidacy. So the city, over the past 2 months, went through a process to fill a vacancy in candidacy, which resulted in the 1 remaining candidate being deemed the prevailing candidate, Councilwoman Vayeron. The ordinance before you this evening essentially codifies that process. You just implemented a process. This ordinance will codify the process you just went through, make it part of your city code. So if in the event this were to occur in the future, the same process you just followed will remain in place for future councils to consider. That's the item before you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions about this item?
Just for clarification, it wasn't Ms. Ron's seat. That was an appointment. We're talking about
The vacancy,
the vacancy in the
Candidacy,
So
correct.
it's between Martinez and Castoria.
Yeah, right.
So it's the person who's going to take the seat in March.
yes. Yeah,
Yes.
yes. Is that correct then? Yes.
That's-
Okay, that's right.
Just
It's
making
when,
sure.
it's when we were down to 2 candidates and one of those 2
The
candidates dropped out. This,
That
this
is the
covers,
process.
this covers that hole that we
He in
had
essence
danced.
becomes councilman-elect.
Correct.
And
That's
he'll
right.
be, he'll be,
You are, forgive me, thank you for clarification. That is correct.
I thought it was that was for my seat though.
it is, that's what,
But
Yeah.
he was, what about when Patrick Paul's no longer
No.
here? There was a vacancy here, so I
Yeah,
thought that's.
no,
Right.
and I stand corrected. The vice mayor is correct. When Councilman Paul withdrew, that created a vacancy on the council, which was filled through the appointment of Councilman Vayeron. The vacancy in candidacy results in the 1 remaining candidate that'll be deemed elected come March.
Right.
But the 1 remaining candidate remaining in that council race. So thank you for that, Vice Mayor. And this ordinance codifies that process.
just making sure I understood.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent.
That's it with the questions from the council. Zoe, do we have any questions from the public?
We received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. We have a comment from Ms. Torres. Please state your
Hi.
name and address.
Hi, Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. So I just want to make sure that there's also an ordinance for when Vice Mayor O'Connor is bumped over to mayor and leaves a vacancy. Can that seat be immediately filled?
That's
And if
provided
so,
for.
how?
Yeah. And that process is provided for in the charter. So the answer is yes.
And how is it? Do people run again or?
No.
Apply?
We'll be discussing that later in the meeting under the manager's report as to process that we'll be going through and the timeline. Later in the meeting, I'll cover that.
Excellent. Okay, thanks.
We have a comment from, I believe it's Juan Tapiero.
It's Annie Tapiero. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, just
Please-
for clarification.
Please provide, Ms. Tapiero, please provide your address.
Oh, I'm so sorry. 5991 Whippoorwill Circle. Again, Annie Tapiero. I just want clarification. If I understand correctly, there's only 1 candidate running in March, and who would that be?
That's,
The 1 candidate is Julian Martinez, and since he is unopposed, he was already deemed to be elected by the supervisor of election because there is no one running against that individual. So he will be taking his seat, as will Councilman elect Greg Longowski, who did not have an opponent on his position as well, and the mayor elect JP O'Connor. All three of them were unopposed for their seats, so therefore they are deemed to be elected because they are unopposed by the supervisor of elections.
Very well, thank you.
Do we have anyone else?
Mayor, I see no additional comments.
There's no further comment?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance for vacancy and candidacy.
I'll second. Oh, I'm sorry.
Who do I have a second from?
I second.
Larry?
I have a motion by Councilwoman Crump, seconded by Councilwoman Ron. Roll call. Mayor Manning,
Yes.
Councilwoman Long Robinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Crump,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ron,
Yes.
and Vice Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Let's move on to item D, amendment to the comprehensive development plan, private property rights, private right. Oh, so I can say that 3 times, sure. Private property right elements, the first reading.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item D is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, adopting an amendment to its comprehensive development plan in accordance with the mandate set forth in section 163.3184 of the Florida statutes to add and adopt a private property rights element, providing for transmittal to the State Land Planning Agency, providing for conflicts, providing for severability clause, authority to codify, and providing for an effective date.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the record, Osniel Leon with the City of Westlake. Before you is the first reading for the proposed amendment, which is required due to the new legislative mandates effective July 1st, 2021. In particular, House Bill 59, Growth Management, which requires all local governments to have a property rights element included in their comprehensive plan. The legislation modified Chapter 163.3177 of the Florida statutes to add a property rights element as one of the required elements in all comprehensive plans. The legislation also limits the ability to adopt any other comprehensive plan amendments initiated after July 1st from being adopted until the property rights element is adopted. The subject proposed text amendment was advertised by the city's code. There are no inconsistencies identified with the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan. The proposed amendment meets a legislative requirement and is in compliance with Chapter 163 of the Florida statutes. The Land Planning Agency recommended for approval. Staff does recommend approval of the first reading. Thank you.
Any questions? Another step. I guess we have no choice anyhow because it's mandated by the state at this point, so.
The bottom line is we couldn't change any of our other codes until we pass this anyway. So, it's kind of like the gun to the head kind of situation from the state, but it's a good thing to have in our system.
Zoe, you have anyone?
Mayor, we received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please unmute your device, state your name and address. If you've been muted, please press *6. You have 3 minutes. Mayor, we have no comments.
You. We're open for a motion then.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Long Robinson, seconded by Vice Mayor O'Connor. Roll call. Councilwoman Long Robinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Crump,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Mayor Manning.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, with that, we're going to close the public hearing. And we'll move on to our city council comments. Councilwoman Long Robinson.
Well, first of all, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. We did good. Everybody can go and eat or whatever they got going on, right? I would like to engage staff and engage, because this is, I have to do something as my last hoorah, right? But I would like to engage staff as well as engage the new council coming. We have 3 schools here in Westlake. And they are not Title I schools. So of course, with your Title I schools, you get funding for your students who receive free and reduced lunch. None of these schools are Title I. Well, municipalities in the surrounding areas, for example, Wellington, Royal Palm, have created a grant program to supply, don't look at me crazy, Vice Mayor. He don't like me when I start asking for money. But um, where you can tailor the grant program how you want with how much money you would like to give. But I think based on on our budget, we see the projection financially of the city doing well. And so I would like to engage this group coming forward to think about an innovative way to support these schools moving forward, because you only have 3 of them for the academic 22-23 school year. So this is nothing I'm saying rush to do, but kind of look at a way where you can support this in a sense with some type of grant from the city that would be able to support the schools who are not Title I, because just because they aren't Title I does not mean they can't receive or they don't need funding of some sort. So I think things that we have set in place with your affordable housing program, with your apprenticeship to create job opportunity for your economic stability, sustainability, I think this is just something to show that you do, a way to encourage, right, and support education. Because if we see, of course, the latest article that came out, people are literally camping out. And so the data shows where you have a lot of families moving in. So it will be the students in Westlake who will be attending these schools, and it's continuing to grow. So I would just encourage, again, staff and the new council coming to kind of look at an innovative way to support the schools in the area. We have 3 right now, and this may grow at some point, of course, because we're slated to get another school here in the area. But for right now, I would like to encourage the council to figure out a way to support education, because we do not have Title I schools. However, we will have a very well-populated city. And so that is all.
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you. And so I must recognize my good friend, Commissioner Christina Lambert from West Palm Beach came in. I told this my last meeting to make a request. So she wanted to come hear me make the request. So thank you.
Just in time.
She came in just in time, just in case I was gonna get beat up. I had a little backup. But no, thank you, Commissioner, for coming.
Yeah, I think your idea is amazing, and I support it 100%, because one of the main things for any city is school. If the school is number one, the families are gonna want to be here. Like, families always looking for the best schools, the number one schools. It doesn't matter if they're public or not. If they are graded A, that's where they want to be. And I was mentioning this to Mr. Ken the other day, that Boca is one of the greatest city because of that, because they have every type of a school, and all the schools are graded A, most of them. So I think if we do that, if we make our schools graded A, that will be incredible for our Westlake city. Yeah, that's going to be great for us.
Comment. Councilwoman Croft.
I don't have any comments tonight.
No more comments. Thank you. And happy Valentine's Day
Oh,
to
thank you.
all Westlake and us.
Vice Mayor.
I'll be brief. The tax collector's office is opening up on February 22nd. I think that's wonderful news. I wasn't
Yeah.
aware of the firm date until this morning. We are moving and grooving fairly well. We've got the Dixie should be opening up early next month, if all goes well. Our growth and our progress is just incredible. I think these townhomes are probably due to be released in late March sometime. I know staff's been working on my veteran program. So really just as we come close to an end of your guys' tenure here, council, I really just want to express my gratitude for your leadership. Thank everyone. Wish everyone happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My turn. I want to thank the staff. This all wouldn't come together as it has without the support and knowledge of the staff. Ken has and has put a great team together. Engineering, the best. Everybody that that has become that have been part of the city through subcontracting have done a fantastic job. It's given us the ability to pivot real quick when we need to, and the support has been fantastic. So I want to thank our staff for being number one. I mean, they really are. With that, we're gonna get out of here early tonight. We have just a little bit more few more things to take care of, and happy Valentine's, everyone. And we'll go on with our staff reports. Which we're gonna have. I see the
Fire
we got the
sending
fire
their
report there. Yeah, that's just a report.
If there's any questions, I see the chief's back there. If you have any questions for the response times and
There,
calls.
he's hiding back there.
Yeah, he's hiding back there with the captain. They're both in the back of the room.
Do we have any comments from our fire and our police?
I have is I need a note on letterhead stating there was actually a meeting tonight because my wife doesn't.
Tell her she can tune in.
I know we've been working some traffic issues for the school. I know that's one of the biggest concerns right now is the safe place for the kids to cross the roadways and taking up all the space over here. So I think, I don't know, did Sergeant Rodriguez get in touch with you earlier today? So that's something that we're working on, finding where they can park, where they can't park. That's been an issue since before you were city, really getting these kids out, the parents not wanting to go through the cycle of waiting to pick the kids up. So they tell them to run across the street and meet over here. And it's an issue we're dealing with, or trying to. One of the things I spoke with Ken about earlier is maybe we need to sit down with school board a little bit more and talk to them and the principal and try to get everybody on the same page, because it's an issue I think that's beyond really what we can do alone. I think it's something that needs to be addressed at a different level. So at some point, I'll get with Ken, we'll follow up and see if we can meet with the principal and really just sit down and find out what else can be done to really work on that issue.
Sometimes it's a lot easier to teach the children than it is the parent. And I think in most cases, that's what you're running into right now out there. So good luck with teaching the parents.
Yeah, we've not accomplished that mission ever. So yeah, we need it. But other than that, I don't know if you have any questions really, stats wise, there's nothing.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, of a major issue in this area. I'm going to be finishing my yearly report probably next week, and then I'll forward that over to Ken to have a look at it and see if he wants to change anything around like we discussed the last time, and make any adjustments for the yearly report. Well, actually, this will be the first year where we have back-to-back years to compare instead of a partial year and a full year. So you'll have kind of an idea where your trends are, which are very, very small. Construction burglaries here and there is really it.
Yeah.
So other than that, if you have any questions.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. City Attorney, just floor is yours.
Just very quickly.
Fire. I'm glad you'd like to talk.
Good evening. Everything with fire rescue is actually moving along well. We're really excited because the click to enter system is being implemented out here, and it's really helping our response times.
Good.
So we're doing a real good job with that, and I appreciate all the help with that. As far as everything at Station 22, everything's great. We have some new crew members come in every year. We have a change with our bidding cycle, so new crews are coming in and getting used to the area. So, but everything's going good. If you have any questions?
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for your report. Ken.
Mayor and Council, a couple items. One of them is, as I put out in my weekly report, due to some issues with traffic, I had the engineering department look at our speeds. And they came back with a report, and we're going to be recommending that the speed limit be 30 miles an hour on all of our roads, all of our connector roads. Seminole Pratt will remain at 45 as it is, it's a county road, but all of our internal roads will be 30. Those within the pods will stay at either 20 or 25, whatever was designed for. But what I'm looking for is we'll be bringing a resolution at the next meeting for you all to act on. But in the meantime, I wanted to report that so that you get a consensus from you all to direct Sid, since they're Sid roads, I have to get something from you all to say, we're going that direction, so I can get Sid to order the signs and start getting them replaced. So if it's a consensus of the board, of the council, then I'll proceed that direction.
I mean, what's happening right now is down Town Center Parkway, it'll go from drive and then bump back down, and people really aren't aware that the signs aren't really spread out the way they're supposed to. And you get to the roundabout, it's one speed, and then you get past it, it's another. And I certainly support having one consistent speed limit. This is outside of the gated communities, but not quite on Seminole Pratt. So all the other roads, I certainly support that idea.
Okay.
I would like to hear from our sheriff's department on that, just quickly, what his feeling is on it, as long as he's sitting right here.
Okay, so what the question is, what inside the gated area compared to outside the gated area, but off of the,
Or standard 30 everywhere.
I think inside the gated area should be a standard 25. And outside the gated area, I think would be a standard 30. I don't think there's an issue with going back and forth between the two. But you do see when you go inside, just my opinion, inside some of the gated communities, when you have it up to 30 or 30 or a set at anything above 25, people are going to go 30 to 35 in some of those areas. So putting it at 25 will keep them at least down under 30 usually. You have a lot of young kids in the area. I see this, I'm in a gated community myself, and we see it all the time. I'm going home trying to get to my house and people flying through the neighborhood, and I debate on whether or not to stop them, but I shouldn't because I live in the neighborhood. You have a lot of deputies in here that have already kind of gotten to that position where they're yelling at other people or something for speeding with the areas, and we have to sit down and explain to them that it's not their position. They need to stay out of it. And it's the deputies that work that area, because you're going to have neighbor conflicts, which you don't want as a city or as a deputy. So no, I think from just my perspective, 25 inside the gates and 30 outside of them would be fine. I don't think there's an issue with going back and forth, as long as they know, outside it's one and inside it's the other, and you don't go outside roads switching between 30 and 25 or whatever.
Which is the
depending on
issue
what you're.
with now on the outside the gates, you've got inconsistent speed.
Yeah, and that does cause issues sometimes, and people will complain, and that's their main concern is, well, it was just 25. I didn't see a change to 30.
Right.
I didn't go back. So
Right.
if you're consistent throughout the whole area, I think you solve
Can
that
we
problem.
control the speeds inside the gates as a city? Or is that private property?
No, you have traffic control over everything within the city limits. Technically, you could do traffic speed control as did Loxahatchee Grove on Seminole Pratt. But as they got in a battle with the county and stuff, it's not to our advantage to do anything with it.
That's fine.
And that's why I say anything off of Seminole Pratt within our local roads should be 30. Eventually, Persimmon will be more of a thoroughfare when it is 4-laned. Then that speed limit might be increased, but until that traffic and demands it, I think 30 is plenty fast on it, and the engineers have concurred with that. In it, you're going 1.5 miles to 2 miles.
Right.
There's not that much time frame difference between it, but the safety factor is tremendous.
People are running into the roundabout as it is.
Too many times already.
Now, you'd think 25 for behind the gates, or do you think that's even too high?
I think it's fine. Like I said, 25, if you actually go into a gated community and you drive 25 miles an hour, you see how not fast it is. And you have, you literally on pretty much any vehicle, you can stop a vehicle within 1 to 2 seconds doing 25 miles an hour, depending on the reaction time of the driver.
Gotcha.
So, no, again, my opinion only, but I don't see any issues with 25 miles an hour inside the gated section of it. But again, I don't know if your master HOA or your HOA has say in that, or your individual HOAs, or if that still just falls under the city of how they want to do it. But it's like I said, my opinion, I don't think it makes a big difference. I don't think 20 or 15. You have large gated areas back there, so
Just have so many families and kids.
you do. But like you said, if you drive 25 miles an hour in there, you'll see how slow it actually is. It's not you if you do that and literally give yourself a test and have somebody in the car with you and tell you to stop, you'll see how 25 miles an hour you stop on a dime. It's fast and it's not an issue as long as you have people paying attention. It's not the speed that's the issue. It's people driving in the gated community on their phones, staring at their phones, or just not paying attention to the road itself when you have a kid come out. It's not. I think that's the bigger issue is the devices people look at these days are get caught up in while they're driving. They think, oh, I'm in a slow area. I'm only doing 25, 30.
Right.
Let me check my emails or check the weather or whatever. And that's what the issues are. So, like I said, I think 25 is fine.
Thank you. Is that consistent, Ken, with what you're
Yes.
suggesting?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I believe most of the inside the pods are already at 25. So I believe leaving that as what it's designed for, and then just keeping the other consistent with a 30 through the rest of it.
You need direction to have Sid make all the new signs and
No, just that you're going to be moving it to the 30, and then I'll take it to the SID and we'll start getting the signs from the SID's perspective
So we need a
made and
motion.
installed. Yeah. Just a consensus tonight and then a fast resolution at the next meeting.
Oh, yeah.
he's got his consensus.
So we'll move forward with that.
Yes.
The next item that I have is next meeting with March is the election of the new council, at which time there will become a vacancy for the vice mayor seat, which until the actual meeting of the 14th, we cannot accept any applications or informations for that vacancy because it's not really a vacancy yet until that date. But what I would suggest that we start accepting resumes for the seat that you would be vacating, Mr. Vice Mayor, starting March 15th through the 25th. And then they would be forwarded to you all and have a workshop on March 28th, I believe it is. It's a Monday, where you, as the council, the new council, would be interviewing the individuals and ranking them. And then you would appoint somebody to fill the open seat at the April meeting. If that's amenable to the,
I mean, it's my opinion that the longer that this seat sits vacant, it's a disservice to the city. So
Right.
the sooner we can get it filled, the better.
okay.
I think that month is enough time to accept applications and vet the.
Well, I think by announcing it now that we'll be accepting it, those that might be interested in applying for the position would have plenty of time to get their resume together and submit it by March
So we're talking
15th.
about the 14th to
The 15th. The 14th is when it,
30th.
15th to the 25th, which is
That's 10 days.
10 days.
No.
But that's why I'm announcing it now, because it's another 2 weeks.
There's not much time.
But we can't advertise for it, right?
This meeting is advertising for it.
I know. It's not really.
I know it's a disservice to not have someone in that seat, but if you need to have a little time to vet these people, and they need to have time to apply. I'm
Can we
thinking
schedule
that-
a workshop for later? I'm okay with doing the
We
appointment
can-
in April,
We can schedule, look here at the calendar and see what we
but I
can
think
do.
we need more time to get the word out, collect resumes,
If
and
we,
have a good pool of candidates to choose from.
let's see.
I think that 10 days is gonna.
We can. Well, what we could do is we could run it to from the 15th to the 15th to the 30th. And then on April 4th, which is the first Monday of April, have the workshop and shortlist. And then your meeting is April 11th.
Sounds like a better plan to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Like it.
So it'll be 15th to the 30th of March, and then we'll have a workshop on April 4th.
Yeah, that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 days to look over the resumes personally before the workshop meeting on the 4th.
Right.
That way you have an idea of who you're
Good
applying at that point.
Try to figure out the best we can, make it work for everybody. All right, so we'll go from there, and then you'll do appointment on there. One other item is, I believe we were on the appointments to the Arts Committee, but that was going to be left for the new council, correct? So after in April, we'll start taking, after March, we'll start taking applications for the Arts Committee.
The application should already be open, I believe.
I
Are they not?
can't remember.
Yes, they were.
They were open.
They are.
Yes.
So we'll have that for that
That's just
meeting.
more time to receive applications. Love it.
And other than that, I don't have a whole lot. I do know that there's a lot of interest and activity behind the scenes on more commercial coming in. They will be soon constructing the rest of Persimmon up to Town Center Parkway South and Town Center Parkway South out to Persimmon, because there is some stuff coming behind the Publix area. So commercial interest keeps being strong. They're going to keep moving forward as fast as they can on all fronts. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day to all.
Thank you. I remiss in asking the city attorney if he has anything to.
Just one quick item, Mayor. Thank you. And it kind of segues nicely from the manager. Once the new council is fully impaneled with the mayor and the new council members, we do need to schedule some ethics training to cover both the Sunshine Law, the Florida Public Records Act, and the ethics, both state ethics, the Florida Constitution, as well as the Palm Beach County Code. It's a requirement both of state law and of the local codes. We'll probably look at some dates maybe in April just to cover all those things. The state law requires 4 hours of training annually. We could do it in 1 4-hour session. We could do it in 2 2-hour blocks. We're happy to coordinate with the council, whatever works for your schedule. We're happy to accommodate. I just wanted to make sure that's on your radar. So we can start looking at maybe some dates in April or early May. Once we get the council seated, we can go ahead and take that step. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that leaves us to public comments.
Mayor received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please unmute your device, state your name and address. If you've been muted, please press *6 to speak. We have a comment from Nancy Bongiovanni.
I just want to thank the mayor and the vice mayor and the council for the work that they've done, especially these past 3 years. It's been an honor to witness the growth of this city, and I know that you have all devoted many, many hours to helping us achieve the goals that we wanted when we all chose to move here. So thank you all for your time, and I just want you to know that many of us appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Bongiovanni, can you please state your address for the record?
Surely, 16016 Whippoorwill Circle.
Thank you. We have a comment from Ms. Torres.
Hi, Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I just wanted to point out, I know we've had a bunch of trouble at the traffic circle. I've noticed that there is only one traffic circle sign. It's the yellow sign with the 3 circular arrows kind of connecting to each other. That's from Town Center Parkway North, headed east into the circle, and it's hidden behind a tree. And then the other 2 entrances to the circle do not have any traffic circle signs. So I just think signage is lacking. And I also think probably more reflectors could help. Maybe those yellow sticks with the reflectors that stick up vertically. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. And then I had a question regarding the vacancy left by Vice Mayor O'Connor. Will applicants just have to provide a resume, or will they also have to provide the application like previous candidates did?
I would defer to the manager. I believe we'd have a resume plus the application, but again, I would defer to the city manager as far as past practice goes.
Alicia, I'm trying to understand when you say the previous application, it's not like applying in the candidacy for being elected, but it is just a basic application. Zoe, would you finish that for me, please?
Yes, I think what she's referring to is that we do have a board application
Yeah.
that candidates can fill out along with the resume.
Yeah, we would be using that same format.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's it.
And as far as the signs, one of the parts in the study that I had the engineers do, we are looking at signage, spacing of signage to make sure we have the right signs in the right location. For example, when you come out of the hammocks, the front entrance, and you head west, there is no speed sign between that entrance and Seminole Pratt. There will be. The other one, when you're coming east off of Seminole Pratt, is right at the corner. Most people don't even know it's there. So it's going to be relocated further down. So after you turn the corner, you can see the sign and be aware of the speed. So we are going to be adjusting some of the locations of signs as well.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the virtual audience that wishes to make a comment? Please state your name and address. If you've been muted, please press *6. Mayor, I see no comments.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other comments from the floor? With that, happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and we're going to adjourn the meeting at 7:26 p.m. See you on March 14th.